record again. We don't know yet, though. They're checking on it. I think the last one was 3.3, but the performance of the night went to Olenek and Volkanovski. And if I got to tell you what the fight of the night is, you shouldn't be here. Yeah, and then the crypto performance of the nights, they're still tallying the results, but Lene will let you guys know when that comes out. Those guys get $60,000 in Bitcoin.
I guess with Volkanovski, it might have been the performance of the year, much less performance of the night. I mean, what can you say about how good he looked tonight?
Well, I think tonight he came out and made a statement, you know what I mean, that I'm the baddest dude in this division in the world. He made the zombie look like he didn't even belong there. And, fight probably could have been stopped the round before it did, but he couldn't look better than he looked tonight. He looked incredible.
This, of course, was supposed to be a Max Holloway fight before we put in Zombie. He said he thinks that's the fight you guys are probably going to make again. Do you feel like that's the way to lean right now, is to put the fight back together with Holloway?
I don't know. I mean, I don't even know. Sitting right here right now, I don't even know. I don't know what's next for him, but we'll see.
Co-main event, obviously a back-and-forth title fight there. A lot of people had scores all over the place. I'm just curious kind of maybe how you had it scored and what you thought of Aljamain's performance tonight.
Yeah, I thought that the judges blew that one. I thought I had it 3-2 the other way. I don't know how you guys scored it, but, I guess it's all in however you score that first round.
I had it 3-2 for Aljamain, but that first round was so close. So I guess with that in mind, I mean, you got Peter Yan in there saying, let's just do this again. You got Aljamain saying, I want TJ Dillashaw, who was here all week. I mean, with a fight that close that you think went the other way, do you book it again and do a third fight between them?
I think you do. Listen, that fight's going to be there. Peter Yan is one of the baddest dudes in that division. So, you probably do the TJ fight.
And then I'll ask you lastly about the fight of the night, obviously, with Khamzat Chimaev and Gilbert Burns. I mean, gosh, they lived up to everything and more. I guess just talk about that. I mean, the energy was electric. It was insane. I guess, what did you take out of that fight? Yeah, it's one of the best fights I've ever seen. It's one of the coolest fights I've ever been to. Like you said, the place was so loud and people were going crazy. I mean, that fight was eclipsing the co-main and main event all week. And he's got heart. And there's other people that are saying, see, he can't run through everybody. That he's not as good as we thought he was.
Well, he's human. I mean, any asshole that said that doesn't think the kid's human. He's a human being. And he just beat the number 2 welterweight in the world in the UFC with a couple of fights in the UFC. If you don't think he's the real deal, you're out of your mind. Yeah, he's human, and funny, Till keeps telling me, this guy never gets tired. This guy never, ever runs out of energy. He never. But you can't train in the gym for what happened tonight. You can't. I'm sure this week, leading up to this week, he's had a ton of pressure on him, a lot of anxiety. Probably, who knows how well he slept last night. All the things that go into the buzz and energy. And then I'm sure there was a huge adrenaline dump after that first round. So this is shit you can't train for. And you either make it through it or you don't. You made it through with flying colors.
The last thing for me, I'll just ask, I mean, you said coming in, you thought Covington would be the right matchup for him moving forward. Now that you've seen him tonight, you still feel like that's the right fight to make?
Well, that's the other thing. All these other guys who didn't want to fight him before, I'm sure, are looking at him differently now too. But that's what happens when you break into the top 5 in the world in any of these weight classes. You are going in against the absolute best in the world. Gilbert Burns is number 2. He almost knocked Usman out, who is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. So, for people that are saying whatever, A, you probably don't know jack shit about fighting, and B, you have to put it all into perspective.
Yeah, don't know. If you mentioned that you would like to do Khamzat and Colby on ABC, if you could sort of get them to book on that fight. For people who don't know, how massive could that fight be? Those 2 big names on ABC. What sort of numbers do you think you could pull on that?
I don't know, but it's big. I mean, you saw it tonight. We're in Jacksonville, Florida, with a Russian and a Brazilian headline, not headliner, but the biggest fight of the night. Everybody's going crazy. So I think it's a big fight.
Do you think in a way it's almost better for Khamzat to have a fight like this, right? Instead of coming out and just knocking Gilbert out in like 15 seconds, we got to see what he has in him, what his skills are, holes in his game, stuff
I don't
like that.
think it's better. It's inevitable. Yeah. I mean, nobody rolls through anybody and when you're at this level. Is that you just don't go out, not to say that somebody couldn't catch somebody or, and things like that. Those things happen. But, you heard Gilbert. Gilbert said, I was prepared to die tonight. I wasn't going to come in here and roll over on,
Some of the shots that Khamzat took as well would put out most other welterweights too, right?
100%. He took some big shots tonight. And, he looked good, man. This kid, how many times has he fought? And fought 4 times in what? The last, 4 times in how many years?
2.
2 years? He's fought 4 times in 2 years in the UFC. You know what I mean? And most of them were without a crowd. Tonight was his first, I thought that was one of the greatest fights I've ever seen. And to be a part of, to be here in the arena. I don't know how it came off on TV, but holy shit. It was awesome in here.
With a performance like that for Volkanovski, right? He showed his grit against Ortega, and then tonight he just showed there were levels at that. Is he making an argument against Usman as being perhaps the pound-for-pound best in the sport at the moment?
He's up there. I mean, he's up there. I mean, he's number 2 right now anyway, isn't he?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, the 2 best guys in the world, pound for pound.
Outside of tonight, I saw yesterday that Joanna versus Zhang Weili, the rematch has been booked for Singapore. Is there any consideration to putting that 5 rounds, considering the first fight was such an epic, or is it going to be 3 rounds?
That's a good question. You want me to make it 5 rounds?
Could you please?
Yeah, we'll work on that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
A lot of buzz has also been made of Ian Gary's rise. A lot of people comparing him to Conor McGregor. Even he himself says he welcomes those comparisons. And even Conor gave him a shout out before his fight. What did you make of his performance in there, going 3 rounds after his initial knockout win back in Madison Square Garden?
Yeah, what happened with Conor? Did you say?
Conor gave him a shout out. Someone asked him about Ian Gary, and he says, "Oh, he's looking sharp and this and that." So now even Conor is talking about Ian as kind of this next star from Ireland.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, no, the kid looked good. Yeah.
And finally, I don't know if you're aware, but Alexei Oleinik got his 60th professional win. I know you gave him the bonus, but what did you make of his first fight was in '94, I think. Kay Hansen wasn't even alive yet when he made his debut. So what did you make of his? I know you gave him the bonus, but you should make it his.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's awesome. That's awesome. And you know what else too? This is totally off subject, but I was just thinking about. I'm gonna give Gilbert Burns his win money too.
Yeah.
So he's gonna get his show and win. That fight was ridiculous.
Dana back here. Have you ever seen anything like Khamzat? I've had conversations about this all week. We've had Conor, we saw him rise up, but it was almost like every time Conor won, there was questions about well, what if he fights a wrestler? What if he fights this guy?
Right.
With Khamzat heading into tonight's fight, it was almost like inevitable that people thought he was just going to run through Gilbert. Like there was not a matter of if he was going to win, is when he was going to win. Like, have you seen anything like this quickly?
Well, the way that I looked at it is people were tuning in to see if he would run through Gilbert. Because even I was saying, if he runs through him the way he's run through everybody, I mean, but highly unlikely. It's like when the odds came out, we were like, what? They're fucking crazy if they think those are, what the odds should be against Gilbert Burns. But yeah, I mean, that's the amount of hype that he had. But look at what he's done. Just the punch stats alone were 2-something to 1. And the way that he destroyed guys and how easy he made it look. But I say this all the time, not just talking to you guys, but talking to other people. If you can break into the top 5 in the UFC in whatever weight class you're in, very, very few people actually do it. Very few people break into the top 5. And to have 4 fights in 2 years, and I don't even know what the highest ranked guy he fought off the top of my head, but to go fight Gilbert Burns, the number 2 welterweight in the world, and win it, it's unheard of.
And then I wanted to ask you about Mike Malott, who made his UFC debut today, and he had a ferocious knockout against Mickey Gall, and then he had a really good post-fight interview where he put a GoFundMe over for his boxing coach, whose 15-year-old daughter is battling cancer, and he said he's going to donate half of his fight purse to support him and her in this battle against cancer. What did you think of Mike's performance and just what he had to say after the fight?
Yeah, no, he looked good. Yeah, no, the kid looked good. He's fun. He's fun to watch. And he can keep his 10 grand, and I'll do his show and his win, and I'll donate it to his coaches. Good, yeah. So, what's that? Yeah, right?
Dana.
Yeah.
Tonight was the 600th event in UFC history. Obviously, it seems your business is kind of peaking more so than it ever has been. What do you feel like the growth can be from here for the UFC after reaching this milestone of 600 events?
Yeah, well, first of all, I didn't know that. Thanks for letting me know that. That's cool. And we're this thing's on fire right now, man. It's insane. Every event has been a sellout. We're breaking records with the gates, pay-per-views, et cetera, et cetera. It's awesome. I mean, you guys know what I think and what I believe. I believe that this will be the biggest sport in the world. I believe that, now that streaming is becoming a reality, and I think in the next couple of years, maybe 3 to 5 years, there's going to be 3 big players globally, like CBS, NBC, and ABC. When we were growing up, I think there's going to be 3 big global players, and the entire world will be able to watch at the same time. And that was literally mine and Lorenzo's dream early on in the early days. So we're heading there. Then I mean, what's the ceiling? Was there 7-8 billion people in the world? And the sport works everywhere. I mean, I said it would, and now we know it. And God forbid, we get another Chinese world champion or somebody from, here or there. It just continues to grow and get bigger.
And when you look at 2 of the bigger stars or names on your roster, Nate Diaz and Dustin Poirier, it seems like they're both itching to fight pretty bad. Do you have any update on the future of those guys? Dustin saying, he's willing to fight anyone. Nate asked for his release recently in a tweet. Where do things stand with those 2?
Yeah, we met with Nate last week. I don't know where we ended up with it, but I just bopped in and said hi, but I don't know. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Do you still like the idea of a fight between those 2, or would you maybe move on to something else with Dustin? Maybe someone else.
Yeah.
Any ideas?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Dan.
All right.
Dana, real quick.
Yeah.
Here to your left.
I keep
Yeah,
hey,
right here.
I keep staring at this guy back there. His mic doesn't work.
A lot of fans were here supporting Korean Zombie. He said at the media day that he knew that this was likely his last title shot. Obviously, 35 years of age. If you could put into words what the Korean Zombie means for the promotion, obviously somebody that headlined many events and put on just fantastic fights.
Yeah, I mean, you heard tonight. I mean, we're in Jacksonville, Florida, and the crowd was chanting Zombie. I mean, he's one of the most beloved fighters in the UFC. He's put on war after war after war for us, and he's one of the nicest human beings in the world, and he's one of the most exciting fighters. I love the kid. So
And talking about Hamzat, what's his ceiling like on his star power? I mean, he's definitely a unique fighter. Do you put him side to side to the rise of Conor McGregor, to the rise of Ronda Rousey?
yeah, I mean, he's gone that fast. I mean, the kid. I mean, in Fight Island, remember that day he said, "I want to fight again next week." I said, "Okay, let's do it." And ever since then, man, he's been like a rocket ship. I think he's got 3.5 million followers on Instagram. You saw what happened tonight.
And now we've seen the UFC sort of.
When have you ever seen somebody with 4 fights other than Conor and Ronda?
Yeah. We've seen the UFC starting to go to other cities. Columbus, we saw the London show as well. Now you have the Singapore show booked. What does it feel to be back on the road and be sort of opening up again after sort of the monotony of Las Vegas, Florida, and Texas?
Yeah, I wouldn't say there was a monotony of Florida and Texas. I thank God for Florida and Texas. It wasn't for Florida and Texas. That's why I keep coming back here. I told these guys that I would reciprocate for doing what they did during the pandemic. So, yeah, I'm excited to get back out on the road and start going to these new places. But yeah, I'm definitely not tired of Florida or Texas.
And last one for me, we saw the featherweight belt on the line. A lot of contenders, obviously, in the division, but a lot of people are wondering what's going on with Zabit Magomedsharipov. Do you know what's going on with him? What's the update? He hasn't fought in a while, and you just haven't.
What's going on with who?
Zabit?
Oh, Zabit? I don't know what's going on with Zabit. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that question.
When's the last time you talked?
I haven't. I haven't done. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. The matchmakers would know what's going on with that. I don't know. I have no idea.
Thank you.
Okay.
Dana, this is the third time you've been to Jacksonville, particularly in Florida. 3 very different circumstances. In 2020, it was fanless. Last year was the return back, and this year it seems back to normal. You mentioned specifically about Florida, but Jacksonville. How much of a part of UFC has Jacksonville meant to you in these last 3 years?
Jacksonville means a lot to me. That's why I've come back here as many times as I have. I told them that I would. And, your mayor here has been incredible. The governor came here tonight to the event. He's been incredible. So, I love this town. I love your politicians. And, I'd come back here every weekend.
Be back here in 2023, I assume?
Probably. If they call me, I will. All they got to do is call, and I'm here.
Dana, obviously the pandemic has played its part, but it's been a very long time since Alex Volkanovski has fought back in Australia.
Yep.
Are there plans in place for the UFC to bring an event down there for Alex to headline this year?
No, we won't be there this year. Where are you from?
Australia.
Well, you know what's going on over there, man. Come on. It's that the place is still locked down. I can't risk, trying to bring a show over there, get there, and have it shut down. I mean, I think that just happened to Formula One, didn't it? Didn't that just happened to Formula One?
I think it's still on.
Huh?
Still on. Melbourne.
I don't know. Didn't they get canceled? Like the cars were on the track, and the show got canceled. I don't know. Huh? It's happening? They didn't shut it down? Goes to show you what I know. Yeah, I was hearing yesterday that they shut it down. So I don't know. Hope I answered your question.
Dana, you spoke about reach around the globe, and you have spoken before regarding going to Puerto Rico, opening a performance center there. We had Tisha Torres fighting tonight, very close fight against Dern. We got Miguel Baeza next week. We got Rob Font and Carlos Candelario later this month. So we have the fighters that we can put a show in Puerto Rico. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, Puerto Rico is a place that I would love to go do an event. And yes, a PI too. Yeah, I mean, the answer is yes.
Is there an update on regards on the PI?
Well, we're still looking for a spot in Mexico. We had a spot, then COVID hit, so that whole thing fell apart. Then we had another spot recently, and that deal fell through somehow. And I think we actually have a new site. You know? Did we get a new site? Mexico. Yeah. Soon.
But regarding Puerto Rico, do you have a date to open a PO or start building a PI over there?
I don't even have Mexico yet. That's
So
what I'm saying.
Mexico has to go first.
Yeah, Mexico's first. Yeah.
Data.
Yep.
Do you still think that Khamzat Chimaev and Colby Covington, it's a good fight for Khamzat as the next fight?
Yeah.
Not
Hamzat's going to be the number 2 guy in the world now.
maybe Bilal Muhammad or another guy.
What's that?
Bilal Muhammad or another guy as an opponent for Khamzat. Yes, Bilal.
Sure. I like it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Dana, straight down the middle. Are you targeting any other cities in the U.S. right now to go back to for shows?
To go back where?
Are you targeting any other like U.S. cities for shows?
It's fun. 4 times in 2 other U.S. cities. Like,
Ones you haven't returned to since the pandemic?
what's the question? Yeah. Yeah. We're going to go everywhere. I mean, we're pretty much back on the road again.
Yeah, I was asking for specifics. Sorry if that wasn't clear.
Specific states?
Or cities or venues you're looking to go to.
We're talking about possibly Boston, back to New York again. We're talking about, we're looking at some Austin. That's Texas, though. They don't want to hear Texas. They want to hear another state. They're tired of Texas and Florida. Salt Lake City, Utah. That's right. Salt Lake. Seattle, we were looking at. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Toronto.
Any plans for Mexico?
No, we don't have anything lined up for Mexico. You done with me?
When's Toronto?
But what's that?
When's Toronto?
Toronto? Probably if we end up in Toronto, it'll be later in the fall. Yep. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.